It's real talk, real views across Michigan. We bring it to you. Stay informed, stay true.
Hello, everyone.
With a
Welcome to the
Bulletin
Michigan Bulletin News. I'm your host, Marcus Jefferson, and I'm also the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Michigan Bulletin newspaper. And we are continuing our Black History special editions, not only in the newspaper, but our final television show as well. And today I have Dr. Stanley Chase here, and he's got a wonderful story to tell you about his uncle Nance Hopkins. His Uncle Nace was a wonderful man, and he started a parade in Maryland over 100 years ago. But before we get to that, Stan, I want to ask you about your passions. I ask all of my guests about it. What is your personal and professional passion?
My personal passion is God. Being a pastor and being brought up as pastor and having probably 10 generations of pastor when I came through. Then from there would be children. I've been a school teacher for over 30 years. And what I liked about school was when I started, people that looked like me weren't going that far. Mm-hmm. But as a result of going to school, getting an education, getting a degree, I was able to become who God wanted me to be.
Yeah, making a difference for yourself and for the people around you.
And for my family.
Oh, yeah, especially family.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me, we were talking before the show, and you were telling me about what your Uncle Nathan did when he got out of the service. Give me a little background on your uncle first.
Yeah, Uncle Nace was in the Civil War. And after the Civil War, he came back to our town. But you have to understand, I'm about the 8th generation. But he came back. But what he did when he came back, we had one of our relatives was a pastor of the church. And they had a parish hall. And what he did was to come back and start a school for the African-American kids. And they were going to the parish hall, and that's where their school started. Mm. They were getting their education.
Right there at the church?
Right at the church.
Oh.
And it went for years and years and years. Actually, it went so long that when I started the elementary school, I went to the parish hall of the church. So it was just years after years after years.
Yeah. Now, where's this community located in Maryland?
It's called a town called Trappe, 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 Maryland.
Oh, wow.
When we grew up, you took about 197 people were there. And I go back to the time when my grandfather was a chauffeur and my grandmother was a maid.
Oh, wow.
So, but it was a celebration all the time. We celebrated my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Nathaniel Hopkins. Uncle Nace is what we called him. Mm. And so as a result of that, the kids started thinking about, he has done something for us, and what are we going to do for ourselves? And so we had generation after generation going to school, going to college, becoming educators, becoming business people. So actually what he started was a foundation for our lives even today.
Wow, that's great. Now, we've talked about your grandfather, great, a couple times. And one of the things I noticed that it's not only a parade, but there's other components within what you guys celebrate. Can you kind of break that down and tell me about them piece by piece?
Well, it all began 158 years ago.
Wow.
He got out of the Civil War, he came back in the community, and he began to do things for everybody, the African-American people in the community. From that point, they began to have a parade to recognize the fact of the Emancipation Proclamation. It went from there to Nathaniel Hopkins. We've got to celebrate him after he passed away. And when he passed away, it's usually the first week of November, and I remember that because I've been doing it now for over 70 years.
Oh, wow.
The first week in November, we have a parade. It's on a Saturday. After the parade, or before the parade, we all have a church service. All of the relatives go into church. We talk about him. We talk about family, and we all come together. Following that, we look, and I can go now. When I go, I look into the congregation, and in the congregation, I see family. But not only do I see family, I see senators and congressmen from Washington, D.C. They're coming down to celebrate my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. They have done a metal post over his grave. His grave is actually less than a football field away from the church.
Wow.
And they have put up the metal information about what he has done, the impact that he's had. They have a parade that starts, but we go from the church over to the graveside. We do a graveside service. There's a 21-gun salute from the military that have come down to do the 21-gun salute at his grave after the service. And as I said, we have congressmen, senators that are coming down to the service and just recognizing what he's done and all of the work that he's done for that community.
Wow. Now, I understand that you have another component. It's like a reenactment. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, but more of the reenactment is when we had the parade, it's one of the generations is always out front in the same kind of uniform that he wore. That would be him or whoever that person is leading the parade. Actually, Robert is a cousin. He's doing it now, and I think I've got pictures of him. But he's out front. He has his wife with him, and they go through the parade. The next thing you have in the parade is convertibles.
Uh-oh.
In the convertibles are the grandchildren, the older grandchildren. That's where my grandmother and some of the other kids' grandparents would be there while we were out just waiting and looking at everything that was going on. In addition to the parade, we have every high school in Talbot County.
Oh, wow.
Dorchester County that come and are in the parade. We have, and Trappe is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Washington and Baltimore. We have parade bands coming from Baltimore, bands coming from Washington, D.C. As I said, the congressmen, the senators, the fire departments are coming, the policemen are coming, and it's a big parade that probably lasts about 2-3 hours.
Whoa.
So
that's a long parade.
It's a long parade, and we're kind of blessed because our house is not too far from the church, and so the parade goes right by my great-grandmother's house. So we sit in the yard, and we still own the place.
Oh, wow. As a matter of fact, this picture in the latest edition of the newspaper actually has the story of your grandfather, a.k.a. Uncle Nace, and I'm assuming that this is his wife and his kids?
Yes, that was his wife and kids. That's all family. That is all family. And this, I don't know if you can see this picture, but this picture from Nathaniel Hopkins shows from 1831 to 1900, and that's when he passed away.
Oh, wow.
But that's the picture that we have. That's his biography. All of the kids get an opportunity to review the biography, what he's done, his impact for the community, and you can get that on any of the newspapers or any of the information that is in the historical documents. And as I said, the congressmen and senators are supporting that. Actually, this year, they just came together and set up a new generation of acknowledging him.
Matter of fact, I was just looking at one of the pieces of paper you gave me when you said congressmen and senators. It looks like you've got a declaration there?
Yes. They've done a declaration. Actually, they had a bunch of people, of the children, that came to Washington and met with them, and they set all of that up. And they did the celebration, and one of the things that was happening that we haven't seen before was the fact that while we had different communities coming, different bands and everything coming, there was a community for Trappe, Maryland. It was for that town. But then it got to Easton and got to there, and then it got to Washington, D.C. So they have had a meeting with the congressmen and senators and have made that a national consideration and celebration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Tell me a little bit more about your Uncle Nance's service in the Union Army. I think I looked at the stripes, and he was a corporal?
He was a corporal. But again, back in the years, people of color went to Army, and they were all together. And wherever they went to fight or whatever they had to do, that's basically what it was. And so we didn't learn a lot about him being in the military, even though it was acknowledged by the family. What was acknowledged was the fact of the freedom, that what the fight was and what was being done, it gave people of color freedom. And that was what he was celebrating. Yeah. He was celebrating all of the young people, all of the people of color, all of the white folks that were dying so that he could come home and said, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, my people are free at last.
Oh, that's wonderful. I remember just saying to you earlier before we came on the air that it almost sounds like this is the Maryland Juneteenth celebration.
Oh, it is. It's a celebration. I mean, people are coming from all over. My daughter lives in New York City. And so they come down from New York City, get a hotel room, and I'm a great-great-great-great-great-grandson. But then my grandsons are great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, so
wow.
They come down to the celebration. They go over to the grave, they see all of that. And I'm talking about there are many generations of family, cousins, and all of that are coming down.
Yeah, when I think about it, there's a certain amount of pride. And I said, this ain't my family, but I'm proud that we have stuff like that we can talk about, that we can go back into history. There's so much negativity and divisiveness in the world these days. To see something that is pure like that and that has the good-hearted meaning of what freedom and what life and what legacy is supposed to be, and to see that embodied in your family. And you talked about all the pastors and the generations of kids that have carried on this tradition.
I think one of the things, though, that was really amazing for me, growing up, there were school for blacks, there was school for whites. Segregation. So I went to an all-black elementary school. I went to an all-black high school. So when the Nace's Day celebration came, it was the black high school bands that came, one's from Eastern Maryland, one's from Cambridge, Maryland, Macy's Lane. They came over and they were in the parade. But now when we got to the point where schools became interracial, when we look at the parade now, sometimes it's more white folks than it is black folks.
See, the integration that went too well.
Yeah. So they are all there. And I mean, from, as I said, Baltimore, Washington, the people coming from Baltimore, Washington, they're coming to celebrate him. It's not about family like we used to do, because our whole community came together. But they're coming from all over the state of Maryland.
Yeah, he's a significant historical figure now.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Just to have that idea. Has anyone talked to you about what gave him the idea in the first place when he got back from the military?
It was about celebrating what they had fought for. It was for people that look like us. That was after the celebration and the Emancipation Proclamation was written, that was a celebration. I mean, because when they went to the military, it was still slaves.
So you're literally fighting for your own freedom.
Fighting for our own freedom. And that's what came as a result of that. It didn't come immediately, but it was the foundation that would build the freedom that we have today. As I said, my grandparents, one was a chauffeur and the other one was a maid. So it was years, but we still celebrated. And we celebrated, and more that happened, more people got into a position. You had more people of color that got into Congress. You got more people of color that got in the Senate or into the House of Republicans. And as they got in, changes were made. And as a result of those changes, we were already celebrating a guy that was able to get some freedom for those people that were slaves.
Wow. Now, you mentioned earlier that you had been in education for a long time. You talked a little bit about what you did as a teacher, but tell me about, because I know you've done a lot more than just teach. I know you've done some administrative things on the secondary and at the college level.
I went to all-black college, an all-black school in a college, which was called Bowie State College then. It's now Bowie State University. It shifted. I've had my great uncle went there. My older sister went there, and I went there.
Legacy.
The legacy. And the thing was, though, at the time, the majority of degrees you got going to that college was school teacher. So my sister was a school teacher. I was a school teacher. My uncles were school teachers. And so we came out teaching school.
Teachers College.
It was Teachers College, yeah. And it was about 20 miles from Baltimore and 35 miles from Washington, D.C. So we began to get some experience and some exposure because we grew up in a town of 197 people.
Wow.
So when we got to college, we began to see more. We began to get involved in more kinds of things. And so as a result of that, I became a school teacher. I taught school starting in 1969, and I taught it until I retired, I think 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And in my retirement, and God has blessed me, fortunately got my degrees from a bachelor's degree to a doctorate degree. So I was a teacher, I became a principal, I became a superintendent, and then I became the vice president of a college.
Wow.
And to me, that is the result of Uncle Nace coming home and saying, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about the celebration, the parade, any other family members that you might want to mention?
I think I would say more than just the celebration of what my family was involved in. It was for us to begin to understand that there were so many people that looked like us, that did things, that brought us to the position where we are in this country right now. We don't celebrate like we should. You know, we celebrate Uncle Nace and we do all of that. But that's exciting to us because family comes together and we got some name to give, and we tell our grandchildren and they see that and they can see the grave. But what else is there for our country to do? What else is there that we should be doing as a people? And this may not be nice, but where I am, having been a school teacher, as you went from years to years to years, you got to a point where everyone cared about us that looked like us. But then you got to a point at this age where it's all about me. It's not about us. And we've got to get to a point, it's about us, because all about us brought us to who we can be.
Yeah. Yeah, we need the role models, we need the inspiration, and just like they say, it takes a village. We've got to get back to that village mentality where we're all watching out for each other and helping each other grow.
Yeah, and we're a little different in the fact that we had this ability to celebrate our great-great-great-great-grandfather. But when you go through the issues of our people, and you look at the Martin Luther Kings, you look at the Jesse Jacksons, as you go from year to year to year, there were always people there. And when you begin to celebrate, but we don't celebrate like we used to. We get a day off from work. You know, this one they talk about. But we, to me, as a people, need to be celebrating what our ancestors have done.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because one of the things that I tell people, I get out a couple papers a month, and I celebrate Black History every day.
Yes.
Not just when, I remember when Black History was a week, and it wasn't even a month, and it's actually the shortest month of the year.
Right.
But in the homes, in our undertakings, we all need to be celebrating Black History every day, because we all know somebody in our family that provided us with some type of guidance, role model. It may not have been something that's as profound as a parade, but some advice that your grandmother gave you or your uncle gave you that led you in a positive direction. And you're right. We just kind of got our own little turf, and we don't care about anybody else. And, if you've got your fist balled up, nothing goes out and nothing comes in.
That's it. And I think one of the great things, and I would say in Lansing, is because they are celebrations for people that look like us. Whether it's the NAACP that's going on and having a celebration, or their annual conference. I'm part of Turning Point. We have the Turning Point guys go down there, the young boys, and they're ushers. They're greeters. So they can hear the story about where we came from. They can hear the story about what our people and our ancestors had to fight. And I'm hoping that all of our kids can get to hear that, because we used to talk about it, but I'm not sure that they're talking about it as much in the schools now.
Yeah.
So if I'm not talking about it at the schools, I would say to everybody that looks like me, when you have dinner, sit down and talk to your kids about it.
Yeah. Because you got to know something about your past, because it'll affect your future. And not only that, the more you know about people in your past, role models, the inspiration they may give you, where guess what? You can be a role model to somebody else.
Absolutely. You can take power that you hear about and bring it inside of you, and then you can become the power in the streets.
Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here? Do you have a website if people want to know more about this? Anything that might be in other newspapers, other areas where somebody could do some research?
Oh yeah, all they have to do is look up Nathaniel Hopkins. It's in all of the history. You can find that anywhere. You can go online and look it up. All of these documents that I have here, I got off the line.
So just a simple Google search.
It's a Google search. You can go out there and ask for look for Nathaniel Hopkins, and like I'm saying, this one, this one, this one.
I got some over here.
So, and the thing about that is, it's not just about Nathaniel Hopkins. He did something, and my family feel that he is amazing. But there are so many people that look like us that have done some things to bring us to where we are today. And we don't need to start looking and thinking about who they were. And we talk about Martin Luther King. We talk about Jesse Jackson, and we should. But there are some people that were out there before them.
Yeah.
There are people that are out here now, and we need to celebrate them. We need to pray for them, and we need to bless them as much as we can.
Yeah, because, you think about it, and that's another thing somebody says. When somebody's giving someone notoriety or they're putting what they call their history out there, we have people that are, I bet you everybody's got somebody in their family that they're proud of and has made something happen significantly in the community, but you don't know about it. Nobody's talking about it. And it, it's like we said, we need to get a whole bunch of people together and just tell that story and put it on the television, put it in a newspaper. We all need to be proud of something.
We need to be. And if we look back, we've got something to be proud
A
of.
lot to be proud of.
And we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
Yeah.
And it would be nice for us just to come together and share some things about our family. You know, you've got so many people that back in the day didn't have money. You had people that couldn't buy cars. They couldn't have this and they couldn't have that. But there were your Martin Luther Kings. There were the Jesse Jacksons. There were all of those that have come that were a guard and a boundary for us to be uplifted.
Yes.
And, we got the day for Martin Luther King Day, and we're going to have a Jesse Jackson Day. But there is a day for one person you can always thank, and that's your godly father from heaven. They gave you my great-great-grandfather and everybody else to bless us all.
Yeah. And I tell people, this just didn't happen, They just, here it is. No. Yahweh and Yahshua and all the things that came that we are, sometimes we don't even understand that, yes, you got to die, but where does your spirit go? What do you know about that? Did you make a difference when you were on the face of this earth?
Mm-hmm.
Were you a giver or were you a taker?
Right.
Just some simple things that people don't think about, but hopefully they will think about, and they will try to do something to make this world a better place because they lived in it.
Well, I would say to anybody that's old like me, I had a fourth grade teacher. I will never forget her because she treated me so good. She taught me so much, and it was Mrs. Townsend. So there's someone in your life that has touched your life, that has enhanced you in your life, that you should give praise for, give thank you for, and then tell somebody about them.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, it's funny that you said that. My fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Johnson, recognized me for my writing, and she was the first person to ever give me a book.
Oh, wow.
And something like that you never forget. And I'm sure we all have somebody out there that has done that, touched us in a way that we may not have thought about, because I hadn't thought about Mrs. Johnson in years until you mentioned it.
And one thing I would say, if you've been blessed, bless somebody else.
Oh, yes.
Just bless somebody else.
That's the most important thing. And you know what? Don't sit around here and mope about what you ain't got. Thank goodness that you've got blessings.
Amen.
There's a lot of people that don't eat well, that don't have a place to stay, and don't have a car to drive. So think about the blessings that have been bestowed upon you, and if you can uplift somebody else, uplift them.
That's it. Part of your DNA should be a blessing.
Yeah. That should be a hashtag and a T-shirt.
That's it. Be a blessing.
Well, this is Marcus Jefferson, and hopefully this was some news that you could use. And until we see each other again, everyone have a wonderful life.